Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for today, me and my group mate, which consists of Nur Fatin Suraya binti Zailan, Siti Nurzulaika binti Abdul Nasir, and me, Wan Auna Farzana binti Wan Alias, will be presenting about our digital innovation, which is irregular warrior. So for the introduction, some students find irregular and regular verbs confusing and struggle with them. An innovative digital product has been created to assist them in overcoming this problem. So, the purpose of this innovation is to make it simpler for the student to understand and use these verbs. So, in this discussion, we will look at how this innovative digital product has been created in order to deal with the issue and support the students while they are learning English. So the problem statement for this innovation is, as per mentioned earlier, some students face challenges in distinguishing between regular and irregular verbs, which hinders their language learning progress. And regular and irregular verb can be confusing towards young learners since the concepts are quite different from the basics. So students struggle with the simple past tense, particularly irregular verbs, and often overgeneralize the rules by simply adding d, ed, or ied at the end, which causes them to make mistakes. So, for example, uh, based on our um, based on our experience, people's persistent mistake in converting verbs to the past tense, particularly irregular verbs such as run, which they added ed, eaten, and swim. This can lead to mistakes in their writing or even speech, making it difficult for them to communicate effectively and potentially diminishing their confidence in speaking due to their lack of mastery of the regular and irregular word form. So, the objective of this innovation is to identify the appropriate use of digital learning in order to help students in understanding the use of regular and irregular verb. And this innovation also serves as a drill for the student to be able to memorize it better. So the target group for this innovation is low and intermediate year 5 students. So the product manual or how to use this innovation is the digital product is designed as an interactive slide that includes the input and games for the pupils to revise what they have learned, especially since the vocabulary used is included in their whole syllabus. So the innovation is made based on the vocabulary listed in the DSKP. So the interactive slide is divided into two main sections. So the first section compromises for the inputs on the verb of the regular and irregular verbs. So for the first one, such as the one that I'm displaying, we are explaining about the regular verb and the example and also the list of words. So for the student to have basic knowledge and understanding of what regular verbs and how it is formed. So the next one, we move to the second part, which is their storyline for the game, which in this game the student will indulge in 3 rounds of game that based on the storyline, where there will be warriors that need to save the civilian from a group of witches by winning the 3 rounds of game. So the storyline explain about how they are how they are now a warrior and need to save the civilian on the game based on by winning the games in the innovation. So there's 3 rounds of games. So the first round, they need to find the missing item. For the first round, the student need to find the missing item as per listed. After successfully finding the items, the student need to answer the question to be able to gain the item. So there will be displayed a picture which inside that there's missing items. So in that missing items, the student need to find the missing inside of the picture. There will be missing item which they need to find. And after they find the missing item, they need to answer simple question which include on the past tense of the vocabulary give. Okay, so they need to answer it correctly, and after that they'll be able to gain the item, and also they'll be saved after the first round. They have saved one civilian. For the next round, for the next round, it's called food exchange. And the student need to answer the riddles given by the witches in order for the student to gain back the crops stolen by the witches. So after successfully answering the riddles, the student will gain the crops back and save two civilians. So in this part, there are 5 items that they will gain, but before that, they need to answer the riddles. The readers, there are 5 readers they need to answer. This is grammar in, in this is in order to examine if the student understand and able to answer the question, and still having confusion or not between the irregular and regular verbs. For the last round, it called crossword puzzle. For the last round, the student need to answer the crossword puzzle given by the witches. So after successfully answering the crossword puzzle, the student successfully saved all of the civilian based on the plot of the story, and the last round of game actually works as enrichment for the student to test their understanding towards the topic. So in this, the student only need to answer the past tense for each of the vocabulary given, and after that they have saved all of the civilian, and also they be able to see whether they have a good understanding about the topic or not. So actually this game works as drill, because as we all know, irregular and regular verb have no particular rule that they can remember. So in order for them to remember about irregular and regular verb is by the constant exercise and memorizing. So this game actually works as drill to for the student to memorize the vocabulary better. So I pass this to the next presenter.
Thank you, Wan Auna. So now that we're moving on to the next one, which is the making of the product after we already learned the introduction of the product itself. So as we know, there are 3 metaphors of teaching, which is monologic learning, dialogic learning, and trialogical learning. Monologic learning focuses on how learning as acquisition of knowledge on an individual. Meanwhile, dialogic learning focuses on the discussion or two ways learning that um, how people share ideas through interactions. Meanwhile, triological learning is how a group of people actually collaborate in order to produce something new based on a new idea. So this is how it happens to be with our product. We use triological learning approach, which means that the triological learning approach, also known as TLA, is a prominent framework for understanding and fostering learning in collaborative setting. So particularly in higher education and professional development. So as we can see from the graph below, it emphasizes the dynamic interplay between 3 fundamental aspects of learning, which is first, individual cognition, social interaction, and shared knowledge artifacts. So from this onward, we can see the interconnection between these 3, where an individual cognition produce a new idea through social interaction, and the shared knowledge will produce an artifact, which is a product itself. Next, we're looking into the concepts of TLA applied in our innovative product. So firstly, we have collaborative knowledge construction, which is, as we know in TLA, collaboration is actually the key element in the process of learning in order to create something which is our innovative product. So in this case, learners work together to construct meaningful knowledge that could contribute to others, especially teachers in educational field. In our case, we can see how us as the training teachers actually work together and discuss regarding how to solve our problem statement and also to produce an innovative product. And we also receive other feedbacks from other people in order to make changes and improvisation to our product, which is we get it from our lecturer, from our teachers and also peers. So for teachers, we actually get a test run in SK Latin and Adnan towards year 5 students where pupils actually give reaction and also constructive feedback to our product. So secondly, we have mediation of knowledge artifacts. So based on the collaboration that we made, we produce an artifact, which is artifact is known as product in this case. So the products serve as representative to our ideas, facilitate our communication, teaching, and many more. So the final result is actually the portrayal or result of our ideas combined and discussed, and also the feedbacks that we get from others. So thirdly, we have open-ended process. So as we know, TLE actually emphasized the development through transformation and also reflection. So understanding that, we develop an innovation that is getting into a never-ending process for the sake of improvisation. So our initial plan was revised over and over based on the feedback that we received. For example, in our case, we get feedbacks from our peer review and also from our lecturer, and lastly from the teacher that we asked for help for the test run. So from peer review, we made few changes regarding our activities and also the layout to our slides. And from our respective lecturer, Madam Raja Saida, we actually improvised a lot more in terms of the objective to our product itself. So at first, we plan on just creating an innovative product that could drill the students in terms of the memorization of regular and irregular verbs. However, after receiving her feedback and also her rationale, we decided to change our objective in terms of how to solve the problem itself is we must give understanding to the pupils. So we add on another objective that revolves around the understanding, giving them the chance to learn from the context itself. So we get feedback from our respective teacher from SK Latin and Admin, where she actually has on the product itself and based on students and also her staff have learning, teaching and learning activities. So yeah, we get a lot more that to our product. So lastly, we have cross knowledge practices and ideas. So for knowledge, the vital element in TLE. So we apply it in the making with three different idea that is more focused in addressing our objective. So at first, proposal with different issues. How However, as we go on and as we discuss through the phases and also the steps that we plan in our draft, so we decided to merge our plan together. So, for example, one of member first plan to focus on the drilling. The students are do activities in order to drill them to make the regular stuff. Another one of us actually planned on compiling all the inputs in order to improve the students' understanding of irregular and irregular verbs itself. So based on these two ideas, we combine both together to create a innovative and interactive slide that and all activities to not only drill them on the memorization skills, but also to give them understanding to use the irregular verb and regular verb in the grammar in context. So that's all for me. I pass to the next presenter, Fatin.
Thank you, Zu. So next, we're going to discuss on product development process based on generic model for triological learning. So this is the process. The first one is explicating real purpose and need, and then framing, drafting and versioning, examining and reflecting on, finalizing and specifying, and the last one is reusing. So let's take a look at the first process, explicating real purpose and need. Okay, so one of the most prevalent issue that had been observed during our practical was that pupils make a persistent mistakes in converting verbs to the past tense, particularly irregular verbs such as rhymed, eaten, and swinged. So they tend to use the basic form of past tense. So as we can see from here, um, they were asked to write a poem. So one of my students, they use the wrong form of irregular verbs in which he used run, RUNNED, instead of ran, RAN. So the objectives of this innovation project are to help students in understanding the use of regular and irregular verbs, and also to serve as a drill for the students to be able to memorize the regular and irregular verbs better. Okay. So next, let's take a look at the second process, which is framing. Okay, so framing is a brainstorming phase for knowledge creation and organizing process. So we have combined three ideas from our proposal, and we adapt it into one digital innovation. So we discuss on various games such as Uno, flip card, word puzzle. So all these games help pupils to memorize the regular and irregular verbs. We also try out various platforms like Scratch to make Uno games, and as well as Canva to make a digital innovation for, and combine various games in one slide. Okay, so next process is drafting and versioning. Okay, so for drafting and versioning, we produce a prototype with, in which it is early versions of the final products. So the core idea of trilogical learning is that this draft are then concretely elaborated and versioned by um, by us throughout the process. So we have made the games like matching games, crossword puzzle from book widget, and also editor play. So this is of the examples of one of our trial game for matching games, uh, in which it is from book widgets. So both activity focused on only memorization. So next, precise examining and reflecting on. So we have done a peer evaluation in which we get feedback from them. Give we give them our prototype of digital innovation, and then they provided us a feedback from the prototype. So one of the strengths that we got from them is that they say to us that we had a proper introduction to the topic in which we provide the notes, and also they say that we provide round of practices for pupils to enhance their skills and also understanding in regular and irregular verbs. And then they also focused on our weaknesses, in which they said that our activities from the prototype are sort of old school, so which may cause students to be bored after they try out like one or two tries. So that is from the peer evaluation. So from the peer evaluation, we improve and we present to the lecturer. So our lecturer asked us to focus more on grammar in context, since ours just only focus on memorization and drilling. And also she asked us to choose more interesting activities. Um, so instead of just using matching games and also crossword puzzle, she asked us to include more attractive and interesting activities for pupils to play. and to learn at the same time. Okay, and then after we had present, lecture, and peer evaluation, we improved from that, and we shared our improvised digital innovation to our cooperating teacher during our practicum before. So we asked her to test run the innovation to some of the pupils in the classroom, and she did that, and she gave us some feedback from our digital innovation. Okay. So as you can see, this is the pictures that we got from our cooperating teacher when she was conducting the class using our digital innovation. Okay, next, finalizing and specifying. So in this process, we improve from the feedback by lecturer, peers, and cooperating teacher. So after we got the feedback from the cooperating teacher, um, we edit and finalize the innovation from their feedback, and we edit the innovation according to their feedback. This lead us to this kind of innovation. So what we did is we simpler the notes, since before this we use kind of a hard vocabulary or hard words for students, especially low and intermediate pupils, to understand the words. So we provide a simpler notes in which we just describe what it is of regular verbs and what is irregular verbs. And then we also give them a sentence, uh, an example of sentences for regular verbs and also irregular verbs. And also we also added a list of regular and irregular verbs, uh, the base form and also the simple past form, for them to at least know the right form of simple past for regular and irregular verbs. Okay, and then we improved by adding a storyline to our innovation. Since before this we do not have this, so we added storyline in our innovation, and also some of 3 rounds of games in which it represents the flow of the storyline. So so students can see the storyline better and also get input of regular and irregular verbs in each round. Okay. Lastly, the product development process is reusing. So we share the completed and adjusted innovation to the target audience, in which we're going to share for year 5 pupils, low and intermediate pupils, and these shared products can be reused and adapted into new form of ideas to solve other teaching and learning problems. So, in conclusion, digital innovation helps in shaping the future of education and bringing transformative effects that extend beyond traditional learning boundaries. So, the triological learning process, marked by dynamic interactions among students, teachers, and digital tools, highlights the need for collaboration and adaptability in the evolving technological landscape. So, embracing digital innovation not only enriches the learning experience but also equips individuals, the pupils, with essential skills for success in an increasingly digital and interconnected world. So, the trilogical learning approach guides us to prioritize collaborative dialogue among learners, educators, and digital resources, as well as fostering a more effective and engaging educational journey. So that is all from us three. Thank you.